Tennessee 75, Miami 62, the Jimmy V Classic. Man, Tennessee's beaten teams this year. A couple stats for y'all. By an average of 25 points per game. That's the highest in college basketball, including a 17-point win over Baylor. They're number one in the country. And as a team, they're shooting 63% from two. 63% from two and 38% from three. So we have to ask, what on earth makes them so good? What are they doing right now that other teams are not doing? Thought I would answer this in two ways. Well, the first one, of the 7 rotational guys of Tennessee, 4 of them are transfers. So they're playing the same game that a lot of these other teams are playing, except they're performing super well. And there's a lot of teams that are trying to use this method of just putting a ton of transfers together and it not working out. A lot of them. For example, you could say, why isn't Tennessee like Arizona, who's 4-4 with a lot of talent? Why isn't Tennessee like Memphis, who has a ton of 4 and 5 stars on their team, but yet these transfers aren't necessarily meshing? They just lost to Arkansas State. Why aren't they like Texas, who has 2 losses already? They have a ton of talent, possibly more NBA talent than Tennessee does. What's the difference? It all goes back to this. Arizona, Memphis, and Texas, those 3 teams that I mentioned to you, have, you know how many juniors and seniors they have that have been in the program since day one, that showed up at that same program and haven't transferred? Zero. Tennessee, despite having all of these transfers, despite their leading scorer being Chaz Lanier, is a transfer from North Florida, you look at their rotation and you see their 2 leaders in minutes per game right now, and you know who it is? Zakai Ziegler, Jemai Meshack, 2 seniors for Tennessee who showed up to Tennessee as freshmen, who have played under Rick Barnes for 3 going on 4 years. What's the conclusion? A lot of these programs, man, they lack a foundation. They have all this talent that they get, but there's no one that these transfers can actually sit back and learn from. The best teams, the best college basketball teams, are player coached, where the coach has to do as less of coaching as possible. So, for example, and whether it's practice when a guy doesn't understand a play because he's new to it, you need some guy to pull someone over and say, hey, actually, you screen here, you roll here, you pop out to the 3 here, whatever it may be. Player coach teams. And when these guys show up to this program and there's no culture guys who have been there since day one, they have no players to learn off of. There's nobody to keep it all together. There's no glue. In other words, Tennessee, despite going after all of these transfers, has kept their glue with Meshack and with Ziegler as well. And other guys too, Cade Phillips, Cam Carr, some guys off the bench that have been there as well. And their transfers, which is now foundation. That's all I'm going to say. Tennessee has it. A lot of other teams, those teams that I mentioned, they don't necessarily have it. So it brings me to the second one. And this one is one that is so interesting. Talent evaluation. The scouting department at Tennessee just doesn't miss. Like whether it's Dalton Connect from Northern Colorado, Chaz Lanier, he's averaging 19 points per game on 47% three-point shooting. 47%. Zakai Ziegler was a 3-star. Not highly touted at all. So we have to ask the question again, what are they doing? What is the scouting department doing? And while I am absolutely no expert, I've played NCAA basketball 10. I guess that counts for something. But other than that, I am by no means an expert. But, I did some research, and Tennessee started using this analytics company called HDI, HD Intelligence. You're saying, Harris, why on earth are you talking about this? Well, UConn switched to this company in 2023 after they lost to New Mexico State in the round of 64 in 2022. Remember that Teddy Allen game? He went off for like 40. They've won back-to-back national championships. Alabama was one of the first major programs invested in this program in 2021. And, they made a Final Four recently. Auburn just started using it. Kentucky with Mark Pope used it at BYU, etc. Tennessee started using this. Again, it's called HDI Intelligence. And I believe Nate Oates pays about, not Nate Oates, but the University of Alabama pays about $100,000 to this company. UConn as well. Tennessee started using this system last year. And in 2022, remember, they averaged 71 points per game. 2023, 79. So we have to ask the question, what is the system? I am very curious because a lot of other teams seem to be using it, and it seems to be working out. Just ask Dan Hurley. Went from round of 64 bounce to national back-to-back national champion. And Nate Oates actually had this quote and said, everyone makes it out that we're the only ones doing the analytics and efficiency, but Danny does it too, Dan Hurley. Oates said during a press conference Thursday, me and Danny have talked about it. They're trying to get the most efficient shots too. So with this scouting department at Tennessee, this talent evaluation process, I have no idea what it is. I have no idea how they go about their business, what is about it, but it's effective. And maybe it has to do with this company.